Hey guys, popping in here to talk to you guys about stress and PCOS. And it's something that I feel like, at least in the United States, we're always talking about how a lot of people are chronically stressed. And there's a big difference between being stressed. It's meant to serve you being short term. It's meant to kind of get you to react and move and get things done. Cortisol levels go up with stress, and it's meant to be a helpful tool that way we're feeling our bodies and we're able to manage our stress. However, chronic stress is a whole nother ballgame. When we're chronically stressed, we're overly stimulated, there are actually repercussions. It's kind of like just too much of a good thing. I mean, everything is meant to be in balance and in moderation and homeostasis, if you want to go back to your biology class days. But unfortunately, that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about people that are dealing with chronic stress on a regular basis, whether it be from your career, your job, it's something going on in your family life. Maybe you have a friend that's kind of, I don't know, toxic, or just creates some problems for you in either the relationship between the two of you or your relationships with others. Maybe that you are not making enough fun in your life and trying to give yourself some good rest. That's something that I struggle with. Or we're talking about a slew of other things. Maybe it's financial, your finances are off, what have you. There could be so many triggers. Or maybe it's just that you make yourself so available with your phone and all the things that's always triggering you and going off with all of its alerts and all those kinds of things, that we're now creating more stressors in our life. We're always thinking about something or doing something because we're always available with our technology, right? So there's some consequences to stress, and this isn't just for PCOS women. These problems can come up really in anyone, but in particular if you have PCOS. Again, we've talked about stress being a trigger point and something that has to be managed and worked on. So I'm going to dive into some of the things that you might see when you're stressed and what that kind of does in your body, having it chronically. And we'll kind of talk about maybe some things to kind of consider to work through it. Um, so you might experience some digestive issues, and when you disrupt your digestive system, you will definitely not absorb nutrients and stuff like that the same way. So you might see some nutrient depletion, which will then make your body want to crave and have those foods. You will also see that maybe your gut bacteria don't stay very healthy in your gut, and you're flushing out a lot of stuff. So digestive interruption and disrupting your absorption, that's not good. So that's one thing that will happen. Energy crashes. So fatigue is a big one. We've talked about that before on other videos. So not taking care of stress can create a lot of fatigue for your body, because your body is going to be highly stimulated and doing all these things, and then you get to the end of the day and you're like, whoosh, I can't function or move anymore. I'm done for the day. And then unfortunately, sometimes that then leads to insomnia and just the inability to actually get to some good sleep when we're fatigued. And we've talked about chronic fatigue and that cycle, what that looks like. They don't play well together. So know that can be a big problem when we're chronically stressed. Having a hard time focusing. This is something that is an aha for me, because I definitely struggle in that, staying focused, all the things, all the shiny things, all the ding ding dings going off. I tend to lose track of things that I'm working on when I get stimulated to respond to this, that, or the other. And that's part of my day job, like, is to get alerted and pulled in to go do different things. But at the same time, it's not always meant to be that you lose focus because, the social media or this, that, or the other is going off. I highly encourage you to kind of shut some of those alerts off when you're trying to stay focused. I put my phone on airplane mode. It's the best thing ever. So that's a problem. Also, with going to sleep, I kind of talked about that a little bit earlier. You may struggle going to sleep at night because you're stressed, because you're thinking about things that are bothering you and what have you. Or you might find where you're not staying asleep in the middle of the night, or you're having a hard time getting up in the morning, like where you've finally fallen asleep and then you just can't get up and function and you're tired. And then we need all the things to help stimulate our bodies all over again. And we put ourselves in this vicious cycle of stimulating and crashing and stimulating and crashing and stimulating and crashing. That's something that we don't want to get ourselves into. Experiencing cravings. So one thing with stress is you have elevated cortisol, which really kind of relates back to a lot of these things I'm going to walk you through. This elevated cortisol stimulates your need for more insulin. They like to play around and be at the same level. So the more stressed you become, the more your insulin goes up and up and up and up and up. It's tit for tat. So if you do get that cortisol down, that helps you kind of get some of that insulin level to come back down with it, because again, they like to be around each other. They like to play. They don't like to be separated. So it's very hard to have high insulin levels and very low cortisol. It doesn't really work out too well that way. So they like to stay level. So when you have high cortisol, this will be one reason why we get these emotional responses to eat. High cortisol stimulates the insulin, so that way we are eating and energizing our body to manage our stress. However, we're not in fight or flight, so we're not burning off the things, and then we're storing it. And because of this, we're also having a hard time losing weight. So if you're struggling with weight loss, it may not just be the fact that your insulin is high. You may also have high cortisol levels. So if we can get this down, we can help get this down as well. If you're sick often. So if you've ever had cold sores, or you know someone who has it and they're in moments of stress, I know this is something that my husband and I will talk about. Sometimes he'll wonder where his cold sore comes from, and then we'll just start asking about things that are going on in life, and then that clicks. So stress is great at reducing your immune system, which is not something that in the time that I'm recording this video and in the season of life we're in, we need our immune system working quite well these days. And with stress, it's going to help reduce the strength of our immune system. And so you'll see things like cold sores pop up, or that we get sick easier and quicker, and maybe even for longer sometimes. So our immune system can't work as well to fight off the things. So getting our stress levels down will help out with that. You'll also notice that if you're highly stressed, that you'll become unmotivated. And I can definitely speak to moments of that in my life where I just have all these things on my plate, because I'm a big to-do person. If I have a lot of to-dos that I feel like that are important to me and not enough time to do it, my body will just shut down and I just can't get myself to do anything. And I will find myself distracting myself with mind-numbing activities, which is not necessarily a bad thing. You just don't want to get into that chronic state of just mind-numbing stuff, right? So feeling unsatisfied with meals. Again, we talked about the cortisol and insulin trying to stay in line with each other. So the more chronically stressed, you're going to find yourself hungrier, and you're going to feel like you need to feed the beast. Which then also, when you're in those moments of stress, remember, we've affected our digestive system and we're not absorbing. And so we're going to constantly want to crave and have the things that we're missing nutritionally in our bodies. And that is going to require more food to do that. But when we're not absorbing it, we're still going to want more food to get the thing we're not getting. It's a complicated cycle. Last but not least, low libido. So, this is not a really good thing for relationships and family life, but especially with PCOS women who are trying to conceive, this could be a contributing factor that really doesn't help serve you. And it doesn't matter how much medical intervention you have going on. If you are in states of stress, your body is literally getting the message that now is not the time for children. We are either in a famine because we're not getting nutritional things even though we're eating all the time, or we are in a high stress fight or flight situation, and so now's not the time. It's not safe to have kids. It's just kind of one of those biological things that our body has set up. So really managing stress, addressing the things that are triggering your stress, these are really important things that play a role in your fertility. And this is something that you could do that has very little medical intervention at all. This is something you can do for yourself. So, also with stress, when you have high cortisol levels, you can also increase your DHEA. So, for our people out there that are like an adrenal type of PCOS, really your big focus should be on addressing stress. Not that you shouldn't address food or other things, but stress management should be your priority in your goal setting. So, things you could do to help manage stress. People talk about the same things all the time and it gets a little old. So, your meditations, your yoga, prayer, all those things. But at the end of the day, you can work on all those things. And because I'm a to-do person, so I will stress in meditation. I sometimes can't calm myself down. I have to do meditation in a way that is very timed out in a moment where my family's not up and doing things. My yoga has to be the same way. I'm choosing to be better with those things, just not quite there yet. I also have to meditate with some kind of sound or me saying something. I can't just sit in silence because my brain is just always focused on all these to-dos, which that's my big stress trigger. I need to learn. I'm choosing to be okay in things happening in its own time and accepting help from others and it being done not in the way that I need to have it done. But I think the biggest thing at the end of the day, we can work on all the yoga, we can take all the supplements, we could do all the meditation we want to in the world. If we are not addressing the things that are triggering our stress, things that are going on in our career, things that are going on in our family, if we're not having any fun, if we are having problems with finances, if we're struggling with certain friends, if we're not addressing our purpose in life or our faith, and I'm telling you guys, you're not going to actually be able to meditate and yoga away the things that are triggering our stress. There's a reason why I don't watch the news. There's a reason why I make sure that my surfaces in my bedroom are cluttered free. There's a reason why I don't get on my phone at night and I put it on airplane mode. There's a reason why I don't turn on my phone first thing in the morning. Addressing stress and the things that trigger us. If we can create boundaries, find the right moments where we can allow stress into our lives and the things that we need to learn to let go and the things that we need to do the work and extra effort to get under control. If it's our fitness and our overall health, we need to put those things in motion. Come up with a game plan, guys. Do these things to help manage your stress. Actually address the things that are triggering the stress for us. And I promise you, you'll see things change for you in ways that you can't even imagine. So I hope you guys are finding this helpful. I hope I'm not being babbly. And I want to thank you guys for your time and tuning in. If you guys are enjoying what you're seeing in here, make sure you guys are clicking the subscribe above and clicking on the bell so every time that I put up a new video, you get alerted for when it pops in. So I look forward to our next chat and I'll talk to you guys again soon. Bye-bye.